ready, please can you type 00 in the chat room? Your software is ready. You've opened it. Type 00. Your software is ready, good to go. Please type 00. Okay, I'm only seeing a few people. Okay, so if your own software is not ready, you are the primary reason why we have to make sure that this record is available on YouTube. And when we get done with fixing your software, then you can get back to YouTube and get all of the information, watch through the classes again, and then that will be good. I'm only going to take 1 hour for this class. Then when we come back in the evening, we'll continue. Okay, and then we'll be rounded up in the evening. Every group should know that part of their project work is MS project. Part of the project work is MS project. So let's pay attention to it so that we can be able to get it done. Okay, so can someone summarize? Can someone summarize project management for us? In 30 seconds, can someone summarize project management for us? Please, if you're ready, just lift your hand and then we'll unmute you. Just in 30 seconds, just summarize project management. Okay. Please, I'm waiting. In 30 seconds, can anybody here summarize project management for us? Or summarize what projects are? In 30 seconds. I'm waiting, please. Are we still together? Can you still hear me? Please, if you can hear me, can you put yes in the chat room? If you can hear me, can you put yes in the chat room? Okay, so you are hearing me. All right, so can someone in 30 seconds just summarize what project management is all about? All right, thank you so much, Mr. Sylvester. All right, please kindly unmute and go ahead. Mr. Sylvester, can you hear me? Mr. Sylvester, I can't hear you. All right, please go ahead. Sorry, your network tends not to be regular. Okay, please, can we have someone else? Mr. Sylvester's network tends to be a little bit challenged. Summary of project management or summary of projects. Remember, we just have only 1 hour. Our time is ticking. Okay, Ibe. Ibe, please kindly unmute and let's hear from you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. You're welcome.
Yes, sir. In summary, project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to project requirements.
Okay. So in summary, what then is project? You summarize project management. How can we summarize project?
A project is a temporary endeavor that is undertaken to create maybe a unique product or service.
Okay. Okay, it's still hanging.
Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Ibe tried. It's still hanging. Yes, is a temporary endeavor that taken to create unique deliverables. Yes, you're correct, but it's still hanging. Please, can someone complete the hanging part so that we can begin this practical, because that hanging part is the foundation for this practical. All right, Mr. Godwin, please kindly go ahead. Mr. Godwin, kindly unmute and go ahead. Mr. Godwin, can you unmute from your end and go ahead, please? All right. Like the network is still having a little challenge there. Okay, please, I need someone else to please help. All right, Mr. Chizo, please, if you can hear me, kindly unmute and go ahead.
Yes, I would, I understand that a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to deliver a unique product or service using project management tools.
Okay, using project management tools.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That is great, but I'm still looking for something. I'm still looking for something. So please, Mr. Godwin, can you unmute now?
Okay.
Yes, please go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, please, loud and clear.
A project is an endeavor that needs to be done, taking into consideration the time, the scope, the budget, and at the end, the quality of the expected end of the product.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, so we are looking at considerations to schedule, considerations to scope, and considerations to budget, okay, which are all tilted towards the quality of the project deliverable at the end of the day. All right, so that's all I needed. So essentially, this project software will capture the basic constraints, the project constraint, and then other databases can be formed out of this major constraint. And I'm going to show us just a little of what I mean. Now, if you look at what we have here, you have the scope area. So the scope area is covering from the activity description down to the resources. Okay, and it also tells us about, it tells us everything that has to do with the scope. It tells us everything that has to do with the time, that's from duration up to predecessors. Then it tells us everything that has to do with the budget also. So if you see from this area, the task area, we already have the three constraints highlighted here. So you have task covering scope, you have duration, start, finish, predecessors covering the schedule. Then you have resources covering the budget. Then this area, if you listen to when we're dealing with scope, schedule management, project schedule management, we talked about tools and techniques as a Gantt chart, precedence network diagram, and critical paths, and all of that. So this area is where those graphs are represented, or those precedence diagram, network, bar chart, pie chart. This is the area they are represented. So we have the lyrical side and we have the pictorial side of the project communication. Now, this whole software, like I said, could be referred to as project integration, because at the end of the day, you would have integrated all the 9 knowledge areas using this simple software. All right, you would have integrated scope, schedule, resources, procurement and all of that. You would have integrated them into this simple platform. All right. So what I'm simply going to do is that I'm going to provide a basic background this afternoon, and I'm not going to rush this software. No, I'm not. I'm going to provide a basic background, and all I need you to do is, after the basic background, when you go back on break before we reconvene by, is it 6? Yes, before we reconvene by 6 or 6:30, as the case may be, you would have understood the basic sides that we've taught. Then when we come back in the evening, we can now look at the advanced side. All right, I think that's a good one, right? Okay, so principally, there is a task wizard to this software, and the task wizard will guide us. One of the reasons I use the task wizard to teach is to be able to provide a support for those of us that could be learning it for the first time. So the task wizard helps you to go through with ease. Then as you progress, you find out that you might not really need task wizard again. And the task wizard tend to be much more effective on MS Project 2007. So that's why we always prefer to use this to teach. Okay, so to turn on the task wizard, you go to view, and you will see turn on project guide. Okay, if you go to view on your menu bar, you go to turn on project guide. So you can either turn it on or turn it off. So if I turn it on, I'm going to have a guide by the left-hand side that will tell me everything I need to do. So all I simply need to do is to follow the instructions that this task wizard is providing, or this project guide is provided. All right. So whatever thing it asks me to do, I will just do it, and that will give me some lyrical information here, and provide some pictorial or graphical information on the Gantt side, the Gantt chart side. All right, where the Gantt chart will be displayed. All right. Now, in the project lifecycle, you remember we have initiation, we have planning, we have execution, monitoring, and control, and then we have closure. So we have the 5 process groups. All of the 5 process groups are exemplified in this software, all right? But essentially, we do planning with the software, we do monitoring and control with the software, we do implementation. So work performance information will be generated in the process of project execution. Work performance information or work performance data will be generated as we execute. So as we execute, we monitor and control the execution activities. We now check for scope variations. We check for scope deviations, if there is any. Then we can provide inspections through this plan that we'll build using this particular software. All right. Okay, so before I begin, I'm going to show us an example of a work that's already been done on this software, so that we can have in mind what kind of thing to expect at the end of the day. All right. So please, all the people that their files are open or their software are open, can you please go to File? Just follow me. Go to File, then go to New. Go to File, go to New. Then you will see on Computer. You will see on Computer. Please click on Computer. When you click on Computer, go to Project Templates. So you see different templates of what has been done. For those of us that may not really have all the time to sit down and start creating project plan from scratch, you can actually use any of these templates and structure them to what you really want. All right, you can use any of these templates and structure them to what you really want. For the sake of those that always think that project management is only for is only for engineers, for the sake of those people, we are going to use a template in a customer service, a project in customer service, to see what we should be expecting at the end of the day. Please, is Truslin in this class? Director Truslin, is she in this class? Truslin? Okay. So that's good. I've seen you. Okay, so I'm going to use this template to, one of the things that may actually that I may not be really impressed with is coming back in the evening, and somebody that did not attend the afternoon class will be asking me question on the afternoon class. I will not answer. We have over 50 people in this class. We're only having 36 in attendance. If you exclude myself and Engineer Abraham, we'll be left with 34. So please, group leaders, make sure you reach to your groups. If not, you'll be the one to teach them the afternoon session. All right. All right, thank you. So this is a replica or a template of what we are going to be doing. Okay. So how does this play? Let's go to scope management. In scope management, we have plan scope, we have collect requirements, we have create WBS, verify scope, and then control scope, right? That's what we have. Now, if you go back to scope management, we talk about configurations and all of that in scope. Then when we now look at the configuration in scope management, we'll now start talking about project phases, project tasks, and all of that. And we'll talk about project milestones, right? Then as we talk about those things, we'll find that tasks are contained in phases, and phases are contained in life cycle. So typically what we see on the screen now is a typical life cycle of this project that is called customer service revamp, okay, or ramp up rather. Customer service ramp up, all right? So I don't know the name of this company, but I'm sure if I read about what they have here, they will tell me what it's all about, okay? So the purpose of this template is to support a customer service organization in setting up for the support of a new product. This is a complex topic that could require several schedules to cover all the components. For simplicity, some of the areas have been noted with only one task and will need to be developed in greater detail in separate plans. Technology infrastructure is one example of this. We recommend that a separate schedule be created for the development of technology to support the introduction of a new product. There are several examples of technology templates available for this purpose. Okay, so this template is created essentially for customer service organizations. All right, okay. Now let's go back to that configuration we are talking about. So if you have your big and paper, you could write projects, then you draw an arrow down, you write phases, then you draw an arrow down, you write tasks. So tasks are contained in phases, phases are contained in projects. Tasks are contained in phases, phases are contained in projects. So let's look at it. And you remember when we were talking about scope management, we also mentioned about project statement of work or the project title, right? So in this case, your project title or your project statement of work will be the first element, the first that you see in the task area, in the task name or under the task name. All right. So you see, this is the project, customer service ramp up. That's the project. Now, under the project, you now have the different phases. And I'm going to show you an example of what the different phases are like. If you notice, you'll find out that there are sub phases under each phase. There are sub phases under each phase. Okay, so these are the major phases to this project. So if I have to decide what's the project, this is actually the project. Customer service ramp up. That's the title of this project. Now, what are the project phases? The project phases are initial assessment, service planning, service delivery infrastructure, business performance planning, build customer service program, program loyalty, or perhaps program deployment rather. That will have the post-launch. That will have a point milestone, just like a description to tell you that this project is over. All right. Okay. Now, if you look at the area where the Gantt chart is being represented, that's this area. You find that the milestones are represented with dark gray bars, while the project title is represented in a light gray bar. Okay. All right, so that's what you see here as one of the differentiating factors. Then where there is reason to explain anything, you don't give duration to explanation, right? So that's why you see a milestone or a phase, there is just 0. It's point milestone. It doesn't really say anything about, or it doesn't give you a duration of work to be done. Rather, it gives you an information about something that needs to be done. So you check the area of the closure, the same thing, just 0. Okay, so as soon as you put 0 to your milestone is indicative that you want to explain something or you want to introduce something. So it's not necessarily a work. It could be an instruction you want to give. It could be a brief you want to give about your project, like what we have here. You see, this is a brief. Okay, so brief is not a work that would demand days or months to be done. All right, so we don't need to attach time for adding a project abstract or adding a project summary. Okay. Okay, now in each of the phases, you now begin to see, apart from the sub phase, you begin to see tasks under them. All right, you begin to see tasks under them. Now, if you check the colors of the bars represented by the tasks, they are different by the colors of the bars represented representing the milestones or the phases. Okay, the phases are represented with dark color. The tasks are represented with blue color. Okay, the tasks are represented with blue color. All right. So each of these areas now have their sub projects with their tasks in them. Okay, so you see the sub projects in each of these milestones, in each of these phases. All right. So this is typical of what we want to have. Then as regards to the tasks, then on the duration, you can easily fix duration, how long each of these tasks will take you. Then you can also fix start and finish. Okay, you can fix when are you starting and when are you finishing, right? Then you can also create the resource names or the resources. You create this from the resource database or the resource sheet, where you will have the names of resources and the value for each of those resources, right? So we could have all of those things. We decide who does what part time. After we might have created our resource sheet. All right. So this is typical of what we want to have. Then also, if you check the Gantt area, you find that the Gantt chart typically represents all the things that are being stated out in this task area. The Gantt area typically represents all of the information, all of the logic that we applied in this task area, all right? So you see all the start to start, or finish to start rather, all of the tasks that have finished to start and all of that, okay? So this is just a template that will guide us to what we need to do. It's just a template that will guide us to doing what we need to do. All right? Okay. I trust everyone is seeing this template as it were on the screen. Okay, so now that we have seen all the templates, please, for those of us that have the software, were you able to get this template out? If you got the template out, please type 11. If you got the template, please type 11. If you got this template, please type 11. Is there only one person that got it? Please, I would not like to talk to myself. If I'm explaining and you don't understand it, please just call my attention back. If I'm explaining and you don't understand it, please feel free to call my attention back. I have 1 hour to create this foundation, and I need us to understand this foundation, because if we understand this foundation, it's easy to play with the software. It's easy to tweak it the way you want to tweak it and all of that. Okay, so I need you to understand. I need to understand it. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go back to how I got, and I need you to follow suit with me, right? I need to follow suit with me. How did I get the template? Like I said, not every one of us will have the time to start building project schedules from scratch. Some of us may just use a template and then modify it to suit what we want to do, right? Okay. Of course, in project management, schedule templates is part of the tools and techniques we can use in developing both schedule and scope, right? Okay, so I'm going to go back. For all of us that have the software, are we on this page now? Do we have this software open like this as it is on the screen? If you have it open like this on the screen, please can you confirm? Can you confirm that you have it open? All right, I'm seeing few years, just 3 years. Please, I need more confirmation. Okay. So to get the template, you go to file, from file, you go to new. From file, you go to new. From new, are you seeing the place we have on computer? On computer, you can also get other templates online. Let's use the ones we have in the computer now, the ones that came with the software, all right? So you have on computer. When you click on computer, then you have first the general, which tells you blank. Then you have the project template. Please, if you're following me, Kindly type 00 in the chat room. If you're where I am now, please kindly type 00 in the chat room. If you're where I am, kindly type 00 in the chat room. Okay, if you're missing it, if you've missed at any level now, tell me. If you've missed at any level, tell me so that I will go back. If you've missed at any level of trying to get the template, please let me know. Okay, so since I'm not getting any response from the chat room, I perceive everybody's where I am now. So if you're here, all you need to do is select any template that is of choice to you that will help in the project you want to do. There are several projects, including insurance projects, major projects, security projects, product development projects, business planning projects. You find different new business project, new product project, product launch projects, marketing event project, marketing campaign project. So there are several, you see HR projects and all of that. Okay, so all you need to do is just pick one that suits what you want to do. So I said, let's take, for instance, the customer service ramp up, all right? So if you're choosing the customer service ramp up, can you see my screen on service, customer service ramp up? Can you see the screen on customer service ramp up? Please, if you can see the screen, type 11 in the chat room. If you can see the screen on customer service ramp up with all of the write-ups and all of that, please kindly type 11. Okay, so since we are seeing it, essentially, like I was trying to explain, for the purpose of clarity one more time, projects are broken down into phases, and phases are broken down into tasks. So that's the same principle we're using in the software, right? So this is the project title that will have the different milestones or phases that need to be achieved, right? So this could be, in summary, project scope by phase. This is project scope by phase, right? So if we do it like this, say, okay, this will be project scope by deliverable. Now, if we break it all down, that will be project scope by work packages, because each of these tasks are regarded as work packages, all right? Each of these tasks are regarded as work packages, all right? Each of the tasks are regarded as work packages, all right? So you see there are several sub milestones or sub phases under the phases. Now I said, if you look at the colored differentiations also, if you look at the color differentiations from the Gantt chart or the Gantt area, okay, so you see this is the project title. See how it's represented, light gray. You have the project activity description or project scope description. It has a point of 0. It is not necessarily an activity. Okay, then can it affect the schedule of this project? The answer is no. But can it affect the implementation of this project? The answer is yes, because it is providing information to the project team that is executing the work on how to go. And perhaps it will communicate with them the vision, the objectives, and all of those things in the extracts or in the project summary, right? Then you see that the milestones are dark gray, and then the project tasks are blue, right? Then you also see the finish to start relationship that they were able to create in each of these projects or create among the project tasks. Okay. Then if you look at all of this gives you finish to start relationship. Then if you look at this tree here, 1, 2, 3, it's giving you a finish to finish relationship. Okay, it's giving you a finish to finish relationship. Then you come to this place. It's giving you okay, still unfinished to start relationship. Let's see whether we'll have any other relationship. Okay, so principally, all of those relationship time dependencies we spoke about, finish to start, start to finish, and all of that, we are still going to use them. And those things are going to be the things determining how long or short our project schedule will look like. Okay, the time dependencies are the things that will determine how long and short our project dependencies will look like. All right. Okay, so at this point, like I also said, having breaking down your project. Remember, we said WBS is done. The tool and technique for WBS is decomposition, right? And the composition is simply breaking down your project, right? Breaking it down first to phases, and then from phases you break them down to tasks. That's decomposition. And by decomposing the task or by breaking down the task, you should be able to know how long each of those tasks will take you to accomplish. So by knowing how long, you should know when to start. As soon as you impute when to start, the computer automatically tells you when to finish, because you've already given it how long it will take. All right. So for instance, you say one day is going to be starting 20th of February 2007. Of course, it's going to be finishing by 21st of February 2007. So that's one day. All right. And I will also show us what some other things that will make this scheduling work, this project scheduling, a little easier for us. Okay, so are we on this same page together? Can we start with the main work now? Can we start with the main work now? Or is there still something you didn't get? If you didn't get, maybe the main work will help you get it. Can we start with the main work? Okay, so if we can start with the main work, let's go back. So I'm going to ask all of us that have the software, do we all have this project guide open? If you have the project guide open, please type 00 in the chat room. If you have the project guide open, please type 00 in the chat room. Okay. Okay, I'm only seeing 100. Who else has it open? Okay. Okay. All right. So if you have it open, it makes our work easier. So I'm going to close this because that's not really what I want to use to work. So I'm going to close it, and then I'm going to open up the one I want to work with. So open a fresh page. Open a fresh page like this. Open a fresh page like this. Okay, so I'm going to do a simulation work first. And then when we come back in the evening, we'll now do a real project work. So what each group is going to do is that you're going to decide from that project topic you have, you're going to start breaking them down on how you're going to do it and begin to fix them to your project work, to your project that you're going to be doing, right? Okay, so back to project initiation. The first thing is asking us is to define the project. So I'm going to click on define the project, and it's going to ask me, when do I want to start? And I'm going to tell it when I'm going to start. And it's going to record that for me, such that the next time I'm going to do something, it will start recording from when I said I'm going to start. So Presumably, I'm going to start this project. Okay, I have a project that is going to be starting by 14th of November. So I have 14th of November. Presumably, I'm going to be starting by 14th of November. Okay. So I will continue to step 2. But before I continue to step 2, are we on the same page? Are we on the same page? If you are where I am, can you type 1-1? If we're on the same page, please type. Okay, John Aroa, where did you miss it? I'm going to go back. I asked the question, I said, are we all on this, are we all on this task wizard? We have this task wizard and everybody confirmed yes. How do you go back? Just see the front and back cursor there. See my cursor, you see the front and back cursor there. So just click on the back one to go back and click on the front one to go forward. All right. I'm going to take my time to teach this because to me is as important as everything we've been doing for the past 4 weeks now. So we must pay attention to it. Now, can I proceed? If your task wizard is not on, you go to view, go to turn on. You see turn on project guide here. And then you just click on it, turn on, and then you proceed. Okay, turn on project guide, and then you proceed. And now, can I proceed? Can I go on? Please, I rely on your response heavily now to proceed or to remain where I am. So the faster I get responses, the better for me and the better for us. So can I proceed? Yes, no, we are thinking about it. We'll get back to you. Is Mr. Timothy in this class? No. Okay, so I said from the task wizard wants us to initiate the project, and the task wizard asks us to define the project. So when do we want to start? We tell the task wizard when we want to start. Remember, project management is strategic, right? So planning is one of the things that make project management a strategic adventure, right? Okay, so I tell the software that I want to start by 14th of November. I have a project I want to start by 14th of November. It says, okay, then it tells me continue to step 2 so that I will tell you other things you need to do to make sure that this project that you want to start, you can actually plan it well. I say, okay, thank you so much. And then I click on continue to step 2. So if you click on continue to step 2, it will ask you whether you want to work on a server or you want to work independently. I want to work independent of the server. So I'm going to say, no, I don't want to work on the server. I don't work with the server. So I'm going to say no, and it will tell me, would you like to continue to step 3? Or is there something in step 1 that you didn't understand? And I'll be like, I think I understood what I did in step 1. So let me go to step 3. It's okay, congratulations. So I click on step 3 and it asked me to save it. Then I'll save what I've initiated. Now, are we on the same page? Are we on the same page? Okay, now if we are on the same page, the next thing it will like me to do, still part of the initiation process, project initiation process, it will ask me to define my general working times. So when do I want to work? How do I want my team to work? It will want me to establish all of those things as part of the contract management agreement. As part of, if you remember when we are dealing with project integration management, especially the first aspect, which was around the plan integration management, it told us to or it required that part of the input was agreements, right? So we need to reach some levels of agreement on the working conditions. So I will click on that, and then it will ask me the kind of calendar I would like to work with. Do I want to work Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.? And then I'm going to be having, my staff is going to be having, or my project team will be having break for 1 hour. All right. If this is what I want, I will click on continue to step 2. Now, if I want to change the calendar to something else, maybe we are going to work for 24 hours, then I'm going to check on the 24 hours calendar. Now, if I want to work on shift, then I will click on the shift. All right, I will click on the shift, and each of them have their own time specifications that goes with them. So for the purpose of this class, we're going to use standard calendar. So we'll work Monday to Friday, and we'll have Saturday and Sunday to rest. But we can still go ahead and modify this calendar. So it will ask me, do you want to continue to step 2? I said, of course. And then it wants me to be sure that the days that have been highlighted in the standard calendar is exactly the days I want to work. Now, if there are days I don't want to work, like some of us that do contract work, it's not every day that you do contract, right? So for the days you're going to work, you could highlight those days. Now, let's assume that the project we are doing was for this class. Obviously, we won't be highlighting from Monday to Friday. We will highlight few days, then we'll highlight Saturday and Sunday, because the major project execution will be Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Right? Okay, so if I want to work on Saturday and Sunday, I will kindly tick Saturday and Sunday. Most often, I don't work on Mondays. And that's why if most people call me on Monday, even if my phone is ringing, I will not pick, because Monday is my resting day. Virtually every week, every weekend, I facilitate lectures, right? So, and my lectures most often start by 6 a.m. and they finish either 8 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. So I do the same thing on Sunday from 12 noon to 9 p.m. So Monday I should rest, right? So Monday is my resting day. Then Tuesday, I skeletally do some work. So I could still leave Tuesday, but I'm going to change it. I'm just trying to use my own project to give you an instance. Now, I don't really want to use it exactly the way it is here. So let's assume I want to adjust it. So I can adjust the time. So like I said, Tuesday, I principally do skeletal work. So most often I come to office around 11 o'clock in the morning, and then I work till around 8 p.m. in the evening, then I can go home. All right. So this is how my schedule looks like on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, I'll apply this not to all days. Then I would choose on Wednesday. Wednesday is a little bit better because by then I would have Wednesday. By Wednesday, I would have been recovering gradually. So Wednesday, I come to work by 8 or less than 8, but let's leave that at 8. So by 2 o'clock, I go for break. And then I'll come back by 4 o'clock. I go to break by 2 o'clock. Then I come back by 4. Then I return home by 8. Right? I return home by 8. So this is what my Wednesday look like. And then that's how my Thursday look like. That's how the Friday looks like. Then Saturday. So I could do the same thing for Thursday and Friday. But remember, I'm just using this. I'm just playing around with this based on my own schedule. You have your own project schedule. So in essence, you can change your project schedule the way you want it. Okay, you can change it the way you want it. All right. So it's not compulsory that we must work by default. All right. It's not compulsory that we must work by default. Now, that being said, I will just pretend that I want to work like this, and then I will continue to step 3. But before I continue to step 3, did you understand how you can design your calendar the way you want it? Do you understand that? Okay. Please, I would like more responses. Did you understand it? If you didn't understand it, okay, somebody somehow understood it. Okay. So since we understood it, either directly or indirectly, we can now say, okay, let's move to step 3. I'll go to step 3. It will ask me to define or change working time. Change working time. The change working time here involves additional information as regards to work schedules that might be affected. Example, public holiday can affect your work. Which other one? Maybe staff vacations could affect your work. Sociocultural events may affect your project. So if there is one that may affect your project, that particular date is going to affect your project. You're going to highlight that date and exempt that date from work. So let's assume that December 25th, let's assume the work I'm going to do is going to last beyond December 25th. So I could choose December 25th as a public holiday. So if I click on December 25th, I will come to the area that is named and I will explain what that day is all about. So it's Xmas holiday. And then I will also choose December 26th. And when I come here, I will write it as okay, so December 26th is like by default, it's already picking 25th as a holiday, so I cannot really put it as a holiday. But if you notice, it now push the holiday to 26th. Okay, now push the holiday to 26th. So all of the areas, okay, let's assume that 30th is going to be another holiday. We'll put maybe, I'm not saying it's correct, but let's assume that 30th is now Boxing Day. So you see here, it will highlight Boxing Day. Now look at the information it's telling you there. It said based on exception, Boxing Day, boxing on calendar standard. So what it simply means that this day, 30th, had been exempted from work. So the computer is not going to cover this day when it's reading your schedule. Okay, if anybody is working on this day, the computer will not be regarding that particular day as work. And if there are budgets that are supposed to be expended on that day, it will carry it over to the next day. Okay, it will carry them over to the next day. Now, I'm going to give us a little example. For some of us that use an online payment platform for our businesses, if you use Flutterwave or Paystack or VoguePay or Simple Pay or any of them, you'll find out that on weekends, they don't pay you, irrespective of the fact that, yes, customers paid money to you, but they won't pay you. Their system is structured in such a way, or is projectized in such a way that it doesn't recognize Saturday and Sunday as working days. So it pays you on a working day, which is Monday. The same thing applies to public holidays. Okay, so they don't pay you on public holidays. All right. So if you exempt the days, all of the days you need to exempt, then you can then go back and say, okay. Remember, all of these things we are still doing is all about initiating the project. We are still what? Initiating the project, right? We are still initiating the project. Then I will continue to step 4. Then this is where it will ask me about how long I want to work per day. The standard is 8 hours per day, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's 8 hours per day. All right. If you want to change it, you can change it to suit what you want. Okay. If you want to change it, you can change it to what you want. All right. Okay. So if we work 8 hours per day, per week, we are going to be having 40 hours. That's 8 hours multiplied by 5 days. That's going to be 40 hours. Then if we are going to be working 5 days in a week, that means we are going to be having 20 days in a month. That's 5 days multiplied by 4 weeks. That's going to give us 20 days. So that's what we have here. Now, all the schedule that your computer is going to calculate is going to be calculating it, or this software is going to be calculating, is going to be calculating it based on whatever information you put here. If you increase this to 9 and put this 45, it will still calculate it based on that. If you increase it to 10 and make this 50, it will still continue like that. If you increase it to 12 and make this 60, it's still your choice. Whatever information you feed the computer, whatever input you give it, that's what it's going to use to process your plan and then give it to you, all right? For now, I'm going to leave this as it were, like this, and I'm going to continue to step, I'm going to continue to step 5. It's going to ask me to define additional calendars, but I'm not defining any other additional calendar. I'm going to save and finish. All right. So I've been able to define the project, set the initiation phase from define the project and define the general working terms. So the terms of agreement on work had already been agreed on. Contract agreement on how work should be done, when should be done. I've already agreed on that. Now, if you look at our space, it's still very blank. Nothing has happened. And someone could think that nothing is happening, but something is happening. We've actually fed an information to the software that will help us in processing any other information we now put in this place. And I'm going to run a very quick simulation. I just have 40 minutes more, sorry, 4 minutes more rather, and then I'll be rounding up this particular session. So the next one there is listing the tasks. Okay. If I click on listing the task, it could actually ask me to import from a wizard, like import from Excel, or a task I've already scheduled on Excel or written down on Excel, or I have to write them down myself. And in this case, we are going to write them down ourselves. So I'm going to use a simple simulation. And that simple simulation is that, let's assume that the project we want to do is WXYZ, WXYZ. So that's the project title, right? And the phases in this project are W, X, Y, and Z. Those are the phases in this project. Please follow me carefully. Now, I have listed the phases in this project. Now, I want to, if you look at it in the Gantt area, all of them are still blue. There is no difference. There is no difference between the project title, which is WSYZ, and the project phases listed here. So I want to get the project phases under the project title so that I could reflect, right? So I'm going to highlight all of WXYZ, and I'm going to indent it. So I highlighted all of them, and you see my indent. So I click on indent. So they all go to WXYZ, such that if I click on the project title, I only see project title. All right, so I can easily roll and unroll the project title to get the activities or to get the project phases under them. Now let's assume that don't worry about if I'm being fast now. I just have 2 minutes left, or 3 minutes, no, 2 minutes left. Okay, so I'm going to do something very simple, and it's going to be there on the YouTube, so you could just go to the YouTube and view it again. pending when we will return back, right? Okay, so I want to now add activities to W. So what are the activities under W? I'm going to click on the task below W, and I'm going to go to insert, and I'm going to click on new task. So you see a space is coming up for me for new task. So let's assume I want to do that like 3 times. So I have 3 tasks that need to be done. And these 3 tasks are W1, W2, and W3, right? Then I do the same thing for Y. Okay. Or is it X? All right, I do the same thing for X. So I have X1, X2, X3, X1, X2, and X3. And then I do the same thing for Y. So I have Y1, Y2, Y3, Y1, Y2, and Y3. Then I do the same thing for Z. So I have Z1, Z2, and Z3. So what do I need to do? All of these are still having the same colors, which clearly is indicating that they are all regarded as tasks at this moment. So I'm going to group each of the tasks under a phase. So W1 to W3 is under W, X1 to X3 is under X, Y1 to Y3 is under Y, and Z1 to Z3 is under Z. So now we've been able to create a project title, project phases. We've created project phases, and each of the project phases we've now created activities. Now, if you understood up to this point, let me know. If you understood up to this point, can you type 1 in the chat room? You understood up to this point. Can you type 1? Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Okay, so I trust that all of us here, we are in one group or the other. So the group assignment we are going to have is that we are going to use this software. Just do, you and your group, just do exactly what we've done here, and we'll present it in the evening. So each member of your group should know how to use the software up to this point. And please note, when we give an assignment, we don't joke with it too. When we give our assignment, we don't joke with it. I am going to be having a roll call in the evening. If I call group 1, you show us your own. We'll call group 2 till we get to the last group. Any group that will not show us their own, we will keep them in the waiting room till they've produced their own. Please, this is not a threat. Oh. Please, this is not a joke. Oh. It's a serious work. So as we go now, let's go back to our group. Let's develop it up to this point, and then we will we'll continue from there in the evening. Is there any question for me before we sign off? Sorry, I have another class by 3 o'clock, so I have to sign off.